Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this training session about the CEN-CENELEC Projex-Online application. This afternoon session is not about anything new, it's just a refreshment training that will guide you through the application Projex-Online that has the different CEN and CENELEC work programs available for you. So, as you probably know, you're all muted during this presentation, so I invite you to get involved by using the question box. Should you have a question during my presentation, please enter that question in the question box, and after the presentation I will go through the questions and try to reply as many questions as possible. Should your question remain unreplied, don't worry, because we will upload the questions and the answers on the CEN-CENELEC website together with this presentation and also the recorded webinar. So you can always look back at the questions and the answers as well as the presentation. In case you never met me, my name is Els and I'm a project manager in the Strategy and Governance unit here at the CEN-CENELEC Management Center. And one of my responsibilities is the provision of trainings about our different topics. Now, let us have a look at the agenda of this afternoon. It's, of course, about the CEN-CENELEC Projex-Online application that I will introduce you. I will also do an online demo and show you the homepage and what are the different functionalities that can be useful for you from the homepage. You will then see that you can, for example, create your own personal environment just with the aim of speeding up your searches, for example, so that you really see on the tool what is useful for you. We will then have a closer look at the technical bodies and some of the work programs. What kind of information do we have there? And then at work item level, we also have detailed information. So during the demo, I will pick out some specific work items to show you the different kind of things we have for you. And then there's a few slides on other functionalities and, of course, a word on the support should you have further questions. Now, Projex-Online is accessible via both the CEN and the CENELEC website or via the direct link projects.cen-cenelec.eu. It's available every day of the week. We extended that a while ago. Also, the timing is extended. It's available from midnight 30 until 8 o'clock in the evening. It's the Central European time. There's a timeout on the application, so every 120 minutes you will be asked to log in again. So should that be necessary? I'm just wondering, can everybody hear me? Because I have one person commenting that he cannot hear anything. Normally my screen is shared, so we're at the introduction slide for the moment. So let me continue by saying that the tool is up to date every morning. So if we have a publication, for example, that went out, that will be available the next day on the Projex-Online application. You can see that in the upper right corner of the application. Now, it's a password protected application, so we of course do not open it to everybody. It's open for CEN and CENELEC TC secretaries and also for the CEN NSB and CENELEC NC staff on request. These requests should go via the email itsupport@cen-cenelec.eu and in fact via your NSB or NC contact point. So each member organization has one person or at least one person responsible for sending us these requests. So this is what the homepage looks like for everybody who logs in to Projex-Online. I suggest that I go online to show you what kind of functionalities the homepage gives you. So first of all, there is a possibility to select your profile. Should you be a CEN secretary or rather a CENELEC secretary, you have the possibility to select one or the other. If you click submit, then your choice will be saved in our database and will be remembered for the next logon. So if you log out now and you log in again tomorrow or another day, you will be shown here, in fact, the CENELEC work program. This is important because if you start doing searches via the complex search or the quick search, you will only see the CEN-CENELEC work program, of course. So should you be interested in both, or you want to see by default everything, you should select the two of them. Secondly, this profile area allows you to select or to consult your favorites. We will see that you can save favorites like favorite directives, favorite mandates, favorite technical bodies, and even favorite work items. So this allows you to select the items of your preference in order to quickly consult them the next time. You can even save your searches. So you have the possibility to load a search. We will see that later. And when doing so, you can decide to save a search. That means that you, for example, imagine that you're interested in the publications of a certain TC and you want to see them on a regular basis on your screen. You might want to save those publications search in your favorites here. The second part of the home page is the simple search. So you can, of course, you are free to select one of the TCs of the drop-down menu, or a mandate or a directive. Or if you have the specific work item number, the standard reference, you can enter that number right away into the foreseen field here. Additionally, you can search more complex by combining different search queries. So like the example I've given just before, you can select a TC. You might want, for example, to say, if you're in the CEN-TC secretary and you're interested in a specific alert or all alerts, just for knowing, okay, which of my work items are in alert stage. This might be a possibility. Or, for example, like I mentioned, the status of your TC's publications here. Now, if you submit a search, depending on the list of the results, it might take some time. And as soon as your search is ready, you will see the table with the results on screen. Now, this is where you have the possibility to save the search. So you see here at the bottom, Save Search. So the search query that you entered here will be saved and you will be asked to give it a name. So let's just call it Test for Demo and save it. As soon as you save the search, it is available on top of the complex search here. It gives you also the possibility to delete favorite searches should that be necessary. And it is available from the home page over here. Now, let us have a closer look at one specific TC that I've saved, by the way, in my favorites. How did I do that? Well, if you go onto a certain TC, a certain mandate of directive, or a certain work item, you will see from time to time these little stars. If a star is yellow, that means that it is a favorite. So it is saved or is available from the home page in the favorite section. The same can be done, as you can see here, for work items. Now, this is one of my favorite TCs that I just selected from the list. Now, what kind of information do we have here? Or first of all, let me show you the functionalities. You see that it's a table format and that each column has the possibility to filter. The most useful ones are probably the status of the work item, the standard, and the last milestone. You can, for example, say, no, I only want to see the active ones. And active can be not published or published. So apply. The ones that are in active status and published are the ones, of course, in the last milestone of 6060. The definitive text has been made available by us. Now, to undo a filter, you left click, and you clear it again. You see that a filter is like with the little stars, active when the color is yellow. You also see on top of the table some auto filters. Auto filters are predefined filters that have been set up for you. For example, if you click on published and apply, you will, like in the example I showed you just before, see all the active ones and the standard is published already. Again, to undo a filter, you click on clear. Additionally, you will see that there is a possibility to have the work program of the TC in Excel format as well as in Word. So that gives you the TC's work program in Word in a more written way, let's say. I'm not going to open this because it sometimes takes a while to open, but just for you to know that they are available there. Additionally, every work item that is in alert stage has a little triangle in front of it telling you that, for example, in this case, we have 4 work items in alert stage 5 and 4 in alert stage 4. Now, at first sight, they're not on top of my column, but I can also rearrange these by alerts. There's also a filter on it, so let's try and apply. So these are the 4 work items in alert stage 4. If you do not remember well what is number 4 about, then you can mouse over. This is about the 3-year time frame alert. And an alert in any case means that there is an action from the TC secretary required, of course. Now, if you don't remember what this means and what should be done, you can click on the alert icon and read more about this. So in this case, the work item shall respect the timing defined by the 3-year time frame. And then it describes what you should do, of course. So that's a useful tool or a filter for you to follow up on actions that are required from your side. Okay, let me take another TC that is in my favorite menu here. It is a CEN-CENELEC joint TC, number 3. I'm taking this one because, first of all, it allows me to explain that in case of a joint TC, you can recognize by the work item number which organization has the lead, if it is CEN or CENELEC. That's one thing. Let me click on the first one. For example, in this case, the format already tells us that it has a CENELEC lead, and we can also see that here on top in the bar here, CENELEC lead. Now let me go back before I forget, because for each TC, we also have some basic information, of course. We tell you the status, the secretariat, and there is some contact information for the secretary and the CCMC PM that is responsible for this TC. Now, please bear in mind that Projex-Online is a password protected application, so you are not allowed to share these email addresses with persons that do not have the permissions to look at Projex-Online and the work programs, of course. So you can use them, of course, but not share it with those who are not concerned. Now, additionally, we also have some dates here. You can see, for example, that this secretary has been active for this TC since 2014. The chairperson is quite new, and the person at CCMC is also mentioned. Additionally, for each TC, to make your life a bit easier, we added a link to the TC platform. So here, it depends on, again, who has the lead of the TC. So in case of a joint TC, the platform is on either the e-committee's application or on the collaboration tool for CENELEC. Again, this is an external link, if I can call it like that. So you will have to log in again with your credentials that allow you to consult the working documents of your TC. Okay, now let us have a look again. So I've mentioned the alerts already. By the way, for each TC, you also have that little tab alerts where you have pre-selection of the work item numbers that are in alert stage. For each technical body, we have an overview of the technical body structure. So if there are subcommittees or working groups, they are visualized here. You see that these are hyperlinks, so it allows you to click through and see the information related to the working group. So you see that it has 3 work items here at the moment. There is also a tab called Technical Body Details, which is in fact a little bit of a summary because it contains the status, of course, the date of creation, the link to the sectors or the subsectors, and the title and the scope in the 3 official languages, if we have them available in our database. Like I said in the beginning, it's up to date every day, so the information that you see here is, of course, coming from our database, our CEN-CENELEC database. That's also why the Projex-Online application is an internal application. And you have information about participation. Of course, it's mentioned here in the note, all the CEN and CENELEC members are potential members of TC, but additionally there can be liaison and partner organization that cooperate with the TC. Can be another TC cooperating with this TC, like this example, or it can be an affiliate partner that is working together with the TC. So that's for information on technical body level. I suggest that we go back to my home page so that I can select a work item from my favorite list. Here. A work item that is a work item from that joint TC. I explained you already that you can recognize here if the work item has a CEN or CENELEC lead. Additionally, for each work item, you can also see the CCMC contact point. So this is the editor in our digital publication department taking care of this work item. You can, of course, for each work item see the status, the track it is following, and if it is a parallel project or not. Let me take another one, because in case of a parallel project, we will see that in this example. It is, of course, useful to know if it is a CEN or CENELEC lead, or rather an IC or ISO. So this is an example of a work item of the CEN-CENELEC Joint Technical Committee 3 again. It is following parallel principle, the Frankfurt Agreement, and it has an IEC lead that you can see here. You also see here at the bottom that for each work item there is a timeline. Now the timeline visually represents what is given here in the column below. And for example, in this case, we see that the work item proposal happened in 2012. And of course, that's here. Decision of new work item proposal, stage code 1099 in 2012. The standard or the project goes through different stages. And in 2014, we had it has been submitted to parallel vote on CDV, etc. So what you see here in the timetable is just reflecting the dates from the table. Of course, for each work item, we have information about title and scope again, if available in the database. Let me take another example, because it's maybe useful also for you to learn about standstill and deviations. In my favorites here, this one. In case there is information in a database, you will see this tab, standstill and deviation. So we see here that in 1995, for this work item or this standard, we had a standstill of CEN, and that there was a derogation of standstill from our Czech member in 2006. They always then add a justification and a reference of their national work item concerned. Now, what about national implementations? That's quite important as well, because of course our members have the obligation to nationally implement European standards. in this example here, we can clearly see how it works under the tab Implementations. So we see here that the members implemented it as a national standard, including their national standard reference, the publication date, and the languages in which it has been made available. Also linked to the official journal reference, if any, including the date of the publication in the official journal. Our members also have the obligation to inform us about conflicting national standards, so that is what you see in the second column here, including again their national standard reference, publication date, etc. Now, some third countries might also, of course, implement our European standards, like it is the case for this standard for Botswana and Mongolia. So they informed us that this European standard wasn't implemented as a national standard in their country, again, including the date and their national standard reference number. Okay, another example here for showing you the link with research projects is this work item. It's not much information, but if we have a link to a research project, it is mentioned in the tab Research Project. If there's nothing, that tab will not appear. But for example, this CEN workshop has a link with research project called Whitefish, that's the acronym, and then there's a little bit of explanation here. Okay, now yes, let me go back to my technical body. It's a detail, but it might be nice to know if you go to the TC level. Bad example, this one, okay. Yes, I forgot to mention that if the TC in fact has the possibility to inform us about the meetings. So it's not an obligation, but if you have planned meetings, it's always useful that you inform us about this so that we can enter them in the database. If we have the information, you can click on meetings to see when is the last meeting or when is the next meeting, including the location of the meeting. Okay. Now, of course, work items are not standalone most of the time. Often they are linked to each other. So I'm going to take an example to show you the kind of work item relations that we can have. Under the tab Work Item Relations, we have then, in this case, for example, the fact that the standard from 2000 is in the meanwhile replaced by another standard reference from 2017 with that work item number. The work item numbers are hyperlinked again, so you can click through to see immediately the information related to this standard. Now we can also have normative references to the standard. So we have here the cross-references of the standard, telling them in which standard are they cross-referenced in fact, and then the fact if the standard is cited in another standard, again giving you the reference. Now in some cases standards can also be split or merged, etc. So that will be then available here. Okay. Another example to show you that some technical bodies or some work items, or then in the future standards, are the work of several technical bodies. If we take this example, you will see at the end a tab called Technical Body that says, okay, this is the responsible technical body TC62, also mentioned here on top. giving you the name of the secretary, chairperson, and the PM here at CCMC, but also telling you that there is another TC cooperating with this TC for this standard, of course, mentioning again the same details. So that might be useful as well to consult. Okay, here we go again. I'm taking this example now because it gives you an idea of the information we have in relation to parallel projects. So this is an example of a parallel project with an IEC lead. We have here the IEC project reference. This is an error, we should correct that, but of course it's one with IEC lead, so of course we will mention the IEC project reference number. And then, quite informative here, is the degree of equivalence. So it can be identical or modified. In this case, the standard on European level is an identical one. And then the project ID, in this case of IEC, and the TC responsible at IEC level. Okay, I think I went through all the sections that seem to me important or useful. Oh yeah, by the way, one little thing here is that for each work item, at least if we have a document published on the eTrans section and on the CENELEC FTP for CENELEC projects, of course, you will see a link to access the current documents. Again, this is a link outside the Projex-Online application. Now you're still in Projex-Online, but as soon as you click on these links, you will be redirected through either the e-committees platform on LiveLink, the eTrans platform on LiveLink, or in case of a CENELEC lead, the CENELEC FTP server, which is indirectly you will see the CENELEC website, in fact. So it's important to know here that you need to have the access permissions in order to open the documents, of course. Okay, I think I went through everything. I will just go back to my slides just to make sure that I did not forget anything. So we have seen the My Projex-Online area where you can personalize a bit your own profile by creating favorites and favorite searches, or to select a profile that is maybe CEN or CENELEC only. I've explained you the simple search, so you can search on work item number, standard reference, and I've shown you the complex search and the possibility to save your search. We've seen the filter options, so you have on one hand the filters on the columns, but you also have the auto filters that are predefined for you that allow you to quickly filter out. You have the data download in Excel and Word of the TC's work program. That looks like this in Word, for example. And we've been through the technical body and the work program. So you have the possibility to save these as a favorite. You can recognize them by the little yellow star. You can access your TC's platform. Very important here again is that if it is a CEN TC, it will redirect you to the CEN e-committees on LiveLink. Or a CENELEC TC, it will redirect you to the collaboration. From the work item number, you can recognize in fact the lead of that work item number. You can click on the work item numbers because they're hyperlinked to see more details. We have for each technical body the CCMC project manager's email address available, so you can consult them. The same for the secretary. Please pay attention that this is a password protected application, so do not share these email addresses with anybody who is not authorized. And I mentioned already the access to the TC platform. You can also have an idea of the appointment of the officers, being secretary or chairperson over there. And if the technical body informed us about their meetings, you will see them in the meeting tab. Now for the work items. I've mentioned the fact that for work items, whenever there is a document posted, whether it is a draft or a publication on eTrans or for CENELEC on the website /FTP server, You have that little button with that green arrow that allows you to access the current documents. Again, this is a link going through applications outside Projex-Online, so you will need your authorized user login to access these documents. For each work item, which is a joint work item, you will see that we mention delete. And in case of parallel work items, you will also see that we mention the fact if it's IC-CENELEC lead or ISO CEN lead. There is that timeline for each work item, which visualizes the main steps, so what we call the milestones, what is visible in the table below, for example, here. In case of standstill derogations and national deviations, they are available under the tab Standstill and Deviations. Now for the national implementations, which can be are available under the National Implementations tab, but also conflicting national standards and implementations done by third countries are available there. In case of research projects, they will be visualized under the Research Project tab, and the relations with other standards is quite interesting as well, of course. Now, in case of a TC working together with another technical body, that will be mentioned under the Technical Body tab, like shown here. In case of a parallel project, this information is available. It might be useful for you to check if it is an identical or a modified project. Oh, that was everything I wanted to show you. Just to inform you as well that we have a support section on the Projex-Online area. There is a frequently asked questions area and a help section that might help you to find an answer on your question if you have any. Now, all questions and comments that you should have after this presentation can be forwarded to itsupport@CEN-CENELEC.eu. If it concerns the content, if it's a data issue, you should address your question to our digital production unit, data service@CEN-CENELEC.eu.